Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Some of you may remember when the movie The Passion of the Christ came out. It was hard to watch. It was rated R for a reason. But it was a generally faithful account of what the Bible indicates happened. Many parts of the Bible are rated R. Just because we read and heard the story of Jesus' death on the cross each year all of our lives shouldn't make it any easier to read about. We think of the cross as God's victory over sin. We wear it around our neck as a symbol of what He did for us. But that doesn't make it any less an instrument of torture than it was. And it wasn't just the physical pain and torment that Jesus was dealing with that day. It was the weight of our sins. Every deception, every murder, every act of adultery, every blasphemy, every horrible sin you can think of, all of it was put on Him in those hours at the cross. But remember, what we might categorize as little sins, too, deserve death. Lying, anger, pride, gossip, yes, even worry. All of those things were on Him as well. Mine, yours, everyone, all down through the ages. What a crushing weight. Isaiah 53:10 says, "Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush Him. He has put Him to grief." Jesus didn't deserve punishment, the weight of our sins, or a cruel death, but it was the will of God. Remember in the garden, He prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." It was part of the plan way back in the first garden, part of God's solution for sin. It was the way God had made to provide atonement for the world. Jesus had to go through something so horrible to make something as wonderful as salvation possible. It was God's will. And as Philippians 2:8 says, Jesus humbled Himself and became obedient to that will, even to dying on the cross. When things are difficult in my life, when something I would consider bad happens to me, I need to surrender to God's will, as Jesus did in the garden. I must say, "Let your will be done in my life," as Jesus did. Only with that surrender can I be at peace with what God is doing in my life. Maybe it's His will that I experience this hardship so I can identify with someone else later who's going through the same thing. Or maybe it's His will I persevere through something difficult so I can grow in my character and maturity and learn more of who He is. Like the verse in Isaiah, the will of the Lord may feel crushing and full of grief. But look at what God did when Jesus bowed His will. Salvation. Isaiah 53:10 goes on to say, "The will of the Lord shall prosper in His hand." Just imagine what God can do with you or me if we surrender our will to His every time our life gets rough.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.